good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're watching this around the world. This is the set 6145, Real People Telling Real Stories. As always, I'm your host, Mr. A, and today's no different. With this, in the spirit of celebrating 50 years of hip hop, and that to be determined actually, because it depends on who you ask. Tonight, I want to start with the foundation, which is the DJ. And given the history of hip hop, we really don't know. Some people say, you know, this person started it, that person started it. I have it on very good, reliable sources that it's a DJ by the name of DJ King Disco Mario. Was originally the person who started hip hop. Now they'll usually argue and say it was the one that's universally known, Herc. Right? It's always started with Herc. But these DJs are really the source of what gave birth to hip hop, because these are the people that selected the records, found the breaks, and were spinning at these parties in the South Bronx back in 1970 or 69 or
around that time period, 72, 73.
It depends who you ask. So tonight we want to start with the source of it all, which is the DJ. And that's why I have my guest tonight, DJ Mike Nice. He's going to give a full rundown of his history, all the work that he's done, his experiences. And I mean, there's so much on the table right now. So I'm not even going to hold you. I'm just going to turn it over. We're going to have this conversation. I hope everybody enjoys it. Mike, thank you so much for giving me your time.
My pleasure. I appreciate you, brother.
No, of course.
Shout out to my man, Woo the House Cat.
Yeah, salute to Woo.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah. Woo the House Cat with the connect. So reading up on you and having conversations, I'm trying to figure out, like, at one point in your life that you was like, yo, you know what? I'm going to be a DJ.
Oh, bro, it's got to go back to Red Alert.
Okay.
Like, just, I grew up in between born and bred Ozone Park.
Okay.
But I spent time between East New York, that's Ozone Park, and Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. But pretty much in Brooklyn, like around 1980, moved out to Brooklyn, and that's where I really got introduced to hip hop per se.
Okay.
So I remember my boy Joe, we stood on his stoop and listen to like Rockmaster Scott, The Roof is on Fire, Lottie Dottie, The Show, the Red Alert tapes. Just definitely had to be Red Alert, and then just the bridges over, hearing the Red Alert mix with the and just
classic. That
was it. And then of course, you know, Teddy Ted, Special K, Marley.
Awesome too.
And then just like the constant always want, and remember back then, hip hop was played once a week.
Absolutely.
You know, so to get that tape, and we used to sit with the 8D batteries on the boombox and just, you know, be out there and just, I just remember my man Little Joe just sitting on his stoop, and we just be listening to the shit. And then we, like, I remember like the first whack hip hop was the Rappin' Duke, that the ha.
Was it whack though?
Yeah, I thought it was whack because, you know, I came up on the Rakims, the G-Raps,
right,
the Message, you know, the Melly Mel. So it was like they'd hear the record, the ha, and then you saw the video, and it was just like, this is trash.
I think it's funny because I actually saw him in concert.
Word.
My first hip hop concert was in 1980 something or other in Virginia. And I don't remember if it was Chesapeake. I don't think it was Chesapeake Bay or Newport News. It was some part of Virginia. They had an arena called The Scope. And there was like 12 acts. Mm. One of the acts being the Rappin' Duke. And as an older gentleman now, I think about that moment and understanding and putting hip hop into context in that moment. If you look throughout all the genres, you'll always find somebody who's sort of like a novelty act.
Of course, yeah.
And I think that Rappin' Duke, he was the novelty.
Novelty at the time, probably.
But when I look at it now as an older gentleman, I'm like, yo, I could appreciate this shit.
Compared to the shit that's coming out now, it's like literally, it's funny because we're at a stage where basically there's no gatekeeper. There's no gatekeepers, and a lot of trash gets put out and spun in like 94, 95, when I'm in the heart of this shit, these records were frisbees. Like, this shit was, fuck out of here with this shit.
We played.
Yeah, it's just like, we weren't, like, that shit wasn't cutting. But it also, we got to the internet age where everybody thinks they could be a star, where everybody feels that they can make it.
Right.
And I think another problem with the labels, there's no A&Rs.
Absolutely none.
And it's just like, it's basically, okay, we're going to run with it. But in society as a whole has been dumbed down. So come on, man. You know, it's just like you listen to some of these lyrics and you're like, what? This made a fucking record? And yet people are making millions of dollars off of these brainless.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? It's funny because I've been referring to this moment that we're in as the microwave era.
Yeah.
Where you just put it in, but it's done. Like all right, let's go.
It's been like that for a minute, and it's almost like it's kind of funny because shout out to Gore-Tex from Nonfiction, and I don't know if like for cats that watch the Green DVD, but it's literally fast food.
Yeah, microwave.
It's very quick. And how many albums actually, nobody makes albums no more. Like when we got it out, we got that album from beginning to end. The album told the whole fucking story. Now it's just like you get 4 songs and it's just singles. Nobody listens to from beginning to end. No. I like to hear a full produced album. I like to hear beginning to end. I like to get the whole plate. You know, that was imagine listening to, if the Purple Tape dropped today, would cats listen to that from beginning to the end, from Striving to Perfection all the way to North Star?
The funny thing about that is I don't even think cats would want the Purple Tape right now. We've been driven to that point because what's happening now with the younger generation is they don't understand, or they don't have the conditioning of full artistry. Right. You know what I'm saying? Everything is like we're speaking to the fast food, the momentary microwave shit. That's what they're used to.
Right.
So if somebody came, you know, let's examine out of the West Coast, right? We had somebody drop an album that was out of this world, Kendrick. Mm-hmm. Kendrick's album, his album, Big City, Bad Kid, Big City, or whatever, start to finish is a full like expression.
Right.
And that album, in that moment, everybody was listening, right? I don't understand how that's not catching on. Like, these artists don't believe in lyrics. They don't believe in lyricism. You know what I mean?
I think I'm 48. I think there is a generation from like my era where we put the youngins on to listen to this, check this out. So I think my generation gap, I mean, I have daughters, they're 27, I got an 18-year-old. I think putting them on to certain stuff resonates.
Right.
Rather than, there was a generation gap when nobody taught the babies. You know,
the crack era.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's sad to say, but there's a big generation gap where nobody put the babies on to like, yo, you need to listen to this. You need to be awakened to this. And I appreciate like YouTube where you get like the 18-year-old, 19-year-old that's reacting to Low End Theory. Or, you know what I mean?
I love watching those videos, yeah.
Because it shows you that there's a young generation that really appreciates good music.
Yeah. I think I liken to this, you know, kids today, you know, unless their parents, as you're referring to, like, yo, I put my kids on, and I absolutely did that. Like my kids, they listen to my music and they like that vibe, right. You know, and I think it speaks to the time that we grew up on, because I know me growing up, my mother for a short part of her life was a bartender in the 70s. I was born in 72. In the 70s, the music was fucking out of here.
Oh man, I was born in 75, but like yo, disco was crazy. My mom pumped Donna Summers. Like Donna Summers, Regina Bell, Michael Jackson,
Diana Ross,
like Motown. Like my mom, like any like that disco, like that Studio 54 stuff, and a lot of Motown. I came up on a lot of Motown and like funk and like stuff. Now like nobody, my parents didn't listen to rock, but it was more of like that soul, you know, like that soul funk. And I just remember like and my mom used to have 45s and stuff.
With a little yellow joint to put it on the record player.
Casablanca records and all that shit. But the funny thing was, like years later, was going back and like, oh shit, I remember that record had the sample on this. And
gems.
You know what I mean? So it was like I came up on a lot of breaks too.
Absolutely. It's funny that you're talking about that because it's making me think about the success of Puffy. Mm-hmm. Puffy, in his moment, tapped into our generation by doing those remixes. Oh, yeah. He was playing on everybody's emotions and nobody caught it.
Right.
I knew it.
Right.
Because as soon as I was hearing, when I heard Juicy, I remember the day my mom walked in the house with that record. Mm-hmm. We bought records. Well, my mother bought records. As we got older, we bought records.
Right. It's a funny, shout out to my man Pete Rock, but the original version of Juicy is the B-side of Juicy.
The original?
The Pete Rock version was the first version.
You're right.
And Puff stole that sample from Pete. Now, Pete also did, and I have this, Pete did a version of The What? Pete did a version of Me and My Bitch, and Pete did a version of Suicidal Thoughts. And Puff rejected all these joints.
He was submitting them to Puff
for Big. For Ready to Die.
Oh.
And Puff rejected these joints. And what happened was I got a hold of them when me and Doo-Wop did the 10-year anniversary, The Last King of New York mixtape.
Oh, wow.
And Pete gave them to us.
You know, I'm glad you said Doo-Wop's name.
That's my man. Shout out to Doo-Wop.
Yeah, salute to Doo-Wop. Salute to DJ Dirty Harry.
Yes.
Kid Capri.
Yeah.
You know,
Pooch.
These DJs that New York City, this is a regional thing. If you're watching in Florida or whatever, you're not from New York, you're not gonna, this is a regional, mixtapes is a regional thing. So these DJs, they may not have been on the radio, but they were fucking heavy in the street. And shout out to those guys because you guys on the mixtape circuit broke a lot of records, resurrected a lot of records, broke a lot of artists.
Bro, R&B, bro. You got to remember, like the Grandmaster Vic, shout out to Queens, and Ron G. Them blends, and then we can't forget Kid with the Stephanie Mills, with the Impeach the President. That started a whole wave of the R&B remix.
Mm-hmm. And wait, let me ask you this. What about the New Edition Public Enemy? Reach out and touch with the Public Enemy #1 beat. Yeah. That's the
Headhunter's break. And blow your head.
He knows his records. I'm not a DJ. Yeah. But speaking of records, where did the collection start? Because as I understand it, is the collection still where it is?
The collection is at the present time. Like I've been divorced twice, but the records. My man Fred One's TME studio, like when I went through my divorce and everything like that, I left the records at the studio over there. So there's a big portion of the Mike Nice collection in there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. You can't travel with them. They take up mad space. Now I had 40,000 records last count in '94, but I amassed such a collection of records. Not only did my parents have records, but I worked with Upstairs Records from '94 to 2001. I was the in-store DJ. So I was on every A-list of every major label, plus everything that came to the store, I had a copy of.
Jeez, you didn't need to go to Record Pool.
Didn't, no. I buy records? Yes, I definitely did support the independent. Like, shout out to my man Eclipse from Fat Beats. Shout out to Reek from Bud's Distribution. I definitely supported the indies. And then the major labels, my mom could tell you, I'd come home from school and there'll be pile high of records like this.
How did you navigate that situation to get into Upstairs?
Okay, so funny story was my mom had just remarried to my step-pop, John. Awesome dude. And God bless you, brother. John's 96 now. My stepdad's in hospice care as we speak.
Oh, wow.
But he's a fighter. But so what happened was we ended up moving out to Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. And I go into the record store, and we were right across the street from the Nostrum PJs. And I guess you could say I had a little edge on me. And I'm like, these fucking titles, like, y'all got to do better with the music. And so Ike comes from around the corner. He says, you think you could do better? You could start on Monday. And I literally just be a little braggadocious, Ike and Charlie. And I love both of them. Best bosses to this day. I still keep in touch with Charlie. And I rocked with Upstairs Records from 94 to 2001. Wow. And I basically started off as a salesman until Charlie was like, yo, Mike knows his shit. And he put me head of urban sales. So through that is where I made all the industry connects. And that's how I got a lot of rare materials, a lot of demos, a lot of unfinished mixes, taking phone calls from rappers that would become famous rappers down the line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yo, funny story to this day. I remember, this is funny. Eminem actually called up the store. And this is like around 95, 96. And he had Infinite. And he says, hi, my name is Marshall. Could you check this album, Infinite? He sent it in. And to be honest with you, I thought it was trash. Like when I heard Infinite. And I was like...
it was basement produced.
It was web production. And he had like... He kind of sounded like AZ, but it just didn't have... that. And until I heard him with the Outsiders later. And then more and more. But yeah, I like probably one of the moments like I regret was kind of like dissing Eminem, telling him, no, we're not going to take this. And he blew up to a megastar. And then it was so funny because shout out to my man AL Skills. AL came over to the crib to record, doing a mixtape. And he's like, yo, Mike, I got this kid from Detroit coming up, Eminem. And we're going to do, I think they did, not Stretch and Bob. They did another radio show that night, and then shortly after, M was on Five Star Generals with him and Shabam Sadiq.
Oh, wow.
Stuff like that, yeah.
That's crazy. To be in that moment and to brush shoulders with this kid who would go on to be like a mega fucking star.
I remember getting Jay-Z selling Out the Trunk out of Fulton Street. Him and Dame Dash, before they had Dead Presidents, it was on a white label. And it was, what the fuck was it? It was like the Jay-Z listening party and then the first version of Dead Presidents. Because it's a different version that's on the album.
Right.
Like that, yeah. And Mary wasn't even on...
Cannot the Hustle.
Cannot the Hustle at that time. Yeah.
It's crazy because Jay-Z definitely changed clothes from where he started. You know what I mean?
Coming up with High Powered Rap was the first appearance Jay was on. And then shit that he recorded over at Fresh Gordon's crib.
Okay.
With Kane, Buckle My Shoe, which was an early demo with him and Sauce Money. The Clark Kent days. And, Jay progressed under Kane. And then finally... And then shout out to my man Big L, Rest in peace, Big L. Rest in peace to Big L. And, just he evolved to what he is now today.
You mentioning Kane. Kane, having this anniversary of hip hop, there's a lot of artists that are doing shows this summer. My wife and my son and I went to Rock the Bells. And it was a beautiful thing to see all of them. Rakim was there. I've gotten to see him twice in my life, and he's my favorite MC. So it's Ra and everybody else, right? But seeing Kane, I garnered a little more respect for him because this guy's done a lot. He's had a lot of great records, and he's done a lot. But to see him in our age bracket and perform the way that he did, I was like, wow.
Scrap still, hit the dances and everything.
It had me tripping. I was like, wow, he's gonna pull a muscle.
Kane's still one of the elder statesmen that puts on a show.
Absolutely.
That's like LL. LL puts on a show.
Yeah, he does.
KRS puts on a show.
Yeah, he does.
So it's definitely dope. Like when artists do it. I thought shout out to my brother G Rap.
Salute to G.
That's family there.
That's the Rakim of the streets. That's what I've always said about G-Rap. G-Rap, oof, man. How's he doing in the physical? Because I know he's getting on in his years.
He's good. My brother's good. Just seen my brother at SOBs a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
G performed. And I thought it was dope when Nas took him out.
Really?
Nas took him out at Yankee Stadium for Hip Hop 50. G did Fast Life and Ill Street Blues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Classic.
Hey,
did you at any point, sorry to cut you off, but did you at any point work with rap? Like, did you work with G-Rap at any point?
I got a record with G-Rap.
Production,
yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
And me and G, we recording something, hopefully Veterans Day weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's my dude. That's family. When I tell you G-Rap family, that's my brother.
Salute to G-Rap, man. Is he still in the Midwest?
G's on the East Coast.
Oh, he's back on the East Coast. Okay.
And G's actually got a new album out, present time, and G's still writing.
I'm gonna say this in this moment right now. Or as you referred them, the elder statesmen of hip hop, Kane, G-Rap, Rakim. I was talking to a gentleman from Carrying the Culture, and his name is Tamal. He talks about all of this, and the one thing he said was that he wanted more music from them. Like, there's no reason for them not to be making music.
You gotta remember, like, look, the crazy shit was Smokey Robinson just dropped an album. But there is, and like I kind of call it, it's almost like adult contemporary rap.
Absolutely is.
Because there's guys our age. I'm not gonna listen to one of the new, I don't know, Lil Uzi Vert or something, but I need something from my generation, like, that I could relate to at 48 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Something that's relatable. Tell me about relationships. I've been through 2 divorces. Tell me about relationships, raising kids, struggling with jobs. Talk to me about real life shit that resonates with me, rather than some of the other shit is like I can't relate to. So there definitely is a market for the 90s era, the golden era kids.
Well, do you often get, because I get this, do you get called the old head because you don't listen to the new shit?
You know, it's funny because I've always worked with the youth.
Okay.
So I've never ever lost my edge.
Okay.
Like, I was always the cool dad. It was like Mike's the cool parent. Like Mike, like all my daughter's boyfriends. Yo, Mike's the cool. Okay, it was like Unc. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was always like, because my ear was always to the culture.
Okay.
So like I never lost out of step.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff is like, oh, you listen to the old flows and stuff like that. But when you actually sit down with shout out to my son-in-law Wash, it's like he respects the architect. You know, so like when I was telling him about G-Rap, and I actually gave G his demo, and he's like, yo, your man Wash he does his thing. And it's just like, yo, like G wrote the blueprint for any artist that spits that thug shit, that gun talk, that drug talk.
G-Rap.
You gotta pay homage to G-Rap. And G-Rap birthed Nas, Raekwon, Pun. You know, G will even say it. Pun was like G-Rap 2.0.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like anybody doing the triple syllable, G-Rap's flow and stuff like that. That's the unsung hero. I think unsung in the point that people don't talk about him a lot on like media outlets. Right. But if you go to the street, absolutely. G-Rap is revered in a way in the street that is like, it's unheard of. Yeah. He's, I had this discussion with another person. I think it was T50 from UMTV Raps when we had him on. We were talking about it. And, the differences between the generations and how people listen to music, a lot of things get lost. But it's important for us to share it with them and be like, yo, check this out. Like you were talking about earlier, making the references to the reactions on YouTube. I love watching those videos because the kids that are watching them are in that moment going, yo, you heard what the fuck he said? Yeah. You should want that from your rappers. Yeah. Like, how do we get y'all on board? You know what I mean? And, there are some artists that are out that I could be like, all right, whatever, they're all right. But I think
us growing up, we grew up in a moment where there was just so much.
There was a lot of variety, and everybody was equally dope.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to get my lessons, I could listen to The God. I could listen to Rakim. If I wanted to get my street rap, I listen to G-Rap. If I just want to be on my chill shit, I could listen to De La, Jungle Brothers, Tribe, The Native Tongues. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was just like everybody was equally dope. They were all original, and they were all in their own lane.
Mm-hmm. Now it just seems repetitive.
Yeah.
It's the same beat. Again, there are some artists that do have some artistry to them. They have some creativity to them. But for the most part, I don't want to listen to your album. Give me a single here and there, and I'm good with that.
And everything's click, click, bow, bow. It's just like...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, for the bag, the stripper rap is winning for the bag. The quick cash in, cash out. Them girls is making their quick bag, but the lyrics is doo-doo. It's just like...
Yeah, the booty hole's brown.
Booty hole brown. I
think with the passing of Remy... and I don't mean passing like she did. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. I'm marking her. What I mean is when Remy had to leave us because she had to do that bid, there was a void to fill. And Remy is a lyricist. That's Pun's...
Yeah, Pun's prodigy.
Right there.
Prodigy, absolutely.
So you have this void. What do? And now you have Nicki Minaj. Can Nicki rap?
Nicki can spit.
Nicki can spit. Okay.
Yo, her verse on Monster is still one of the illest verses.
I just don't like now. I'm like
for that time.
For the time. No. Absolutely. What I'm saying is her longevity to me, in my mind, like I'm not really checking for her. You know what I mean?
I like the fact that she did that little thing with Ice Spice. So she that little connection and stuff. But the video gives the creepy auntie vibes. Like I was like, yo,
yeah. What do you think about Ice Spice?
Yo, the funny thing about Ice Spice was, my lady put me on to him. Now my lady's 24 years old, so she put me on to.
His lady's your age. Your lady's my son's age.
Yeah,
a year younger.
Yo, shout out to my baby dad.
Salute.
Desi.
Salute.
And that's my lady for like three years. And like, funny thing was, youngest chick, but the realest female I've ever spent any amount of time with.
Oh, wow.
Just to hold you down, get that bag together, like the realest
right.
female. And she had put me on to Ice Spice. First thing I'd seen the Munch. But then she put me onto another record, Clarity. And I thought Clarity was a dope fucking record. I was like, yo, the girl writes some dope stuff. And I was like, yo, there's more to her than this.
Okay.
So I actually can fuck with Ice Spice.
Okay. I think that right now, I'm drawing up. I don't know why this is happening. J. Cole did a record with Lil Yachty just recently.
Yes, yeah.
And
Cole's
I was
crazy.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because I wasn't like, let me mute this when Yachty comes on. I think that was a great collaboration, and I think if that was Yachty's pen game and his participation, I got a different respect for him.
The funny thing was, like, Yachty, when I first seen him, I was like, who's this cat with the Twizzler head? But then I actually watched interviews with him. I was like, yo, kid's intelligent. It's an image that he came out with was like, like peekaboo. I'm not gonna fuck with that. But the kid, like, I think he knew the game. He had
a team with him.
Yeah,
he had a team with him. Yeah. And that's what's happening with a lot of these artists. Even little Uzi Vert, when he first came out, when I first saw him, let me say that, I was like, all right, he has artistry. Even though he's still doing what they're doing, there's certain moments that these artists have that turns me away. Like the Freshman Cypher. And I was like, I see the kid from Florida. He can actually rap. Kodak Black. He can actually rap. But his image, I'm like, I'm not, that's not for me.
Right.
That's you young dudes. I can't fuck with that. But they have these moments where I'm just like turned off by them musically. But the kid, Little Uzi Vert, after that had started dropping these singles And I was like, wow, okay. He is talented.
Right.
He knows what he's doing.
Right.
So there's something there.
But again, it's a certain demographic that he's
makes
music for.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. He stays in that lane. You know, like as disrespectful as if you throw these old school beats on, I'm not gonna freestyle for you, I'm not gonna run for you.
Exactly.
But he stays in a specific learn, like that specific genre, that pocket.
Yeah.
And hey, look, let him do his thing. Or whatever.
Fucking making wild bread. Mm-hmm. He gotta be indie, making all that money.
Yeah. There's the funny thing is, like, with this whole indie stuff, a lot of these artists, there's a machine behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a machine behind it. So if you dive deeper into the whole Ice Spice thing, there's a whole reason why Drake unfriended her. The girl was signed, but never said anything. So it was just like, Drake probably thought, look, we'll bring her over to Evo. But why are you even engaging when you already have a deal?
Yeah. You
know what I mean? So I get it.
The business is funny. It's always going to be
Industry
funny.
Rule 4080.
Hell, I think we were spoiled in the pocket we grew up in.
Bro, we grew up, like I tell people all the time, we were really outside.
Mm-hmm.
And to actually live in that, bro, come on, 92, 93, Juice was out. Polo was hype. You know what I mean? It was just like...
The club scene?
The club scene was crazy. It was just like... That era, to grow up in that era, and I graduated high school in 93.
Oh, wow.
So I lived that, like that 16, like I was... That in like summer of 90 when Public Enemy, Apocalypse 91 dropped and Cypress Hill came out, Tribe Called Quest came out, The Chronic came out. You had Pete Rock and CL, Black Sheep, bro. Like I bumped these albums and played them back and forth to school, wore my tape, like my Walkman out and shit.
For you youngsters watching, Walkmans were boxes about 2 or 3 times the size of an iPhone X, and we would put a cassette. It was another piece you had to put in there, and that had the music. Yeah, and that's what made DJs with these mixtapes
man.
King. Those mixtapes that floated through New York were just berserk.
Yeah, man. We had I made my first tape back in 92, and I did tapes from 92 up until I did the Cracking the Surface album in 99, and then Doo-Wop resurrected me back in 2010.
Wow.
And brought me back into the whole game, 2009, 2010. But yeah, bro, the mixtapes were, you got like 32 songs on a mixtape, and we made that playlist, and you set it up, just...
That takes a lot of work.
No, bro, for me, it was just like painting a picture. It was just like, let me get busy. Let me do this. And I would get my records and I would preview like everything. Mm-hmm. And then be like, okay, this will mix good into this. And then this, set it up into this. Mm. And then, yeah, bro, the mixtape era was crazy. Because you set like a whole vibe.
Yeah.
You know, and it used to take me almost about 90 minutes to get to school. Taking the bus to get to school. Kids today are spoiled, man. I used to take that, what was it, the B44 from Edmonds Avenue in Sheepshead Bay all the way to Shore Road. I went to Severian High School.
You was right up the street from, I was in Fort.
Okay, Bishop Fort, yeah.
No, Fort Hamilton.
Oh, Fort Hamilton, okay. Fort Hamilton, yeah, man. It's 7100 Shore Road, man.
Wow.
And I'd ride that bus in the morning and just bump mixtapes. And college was good too, man. I slung mixtapes all through St. John's and stuff like that. I went like crazy with St. John's was ill because I went to school with A Butter from Natural Elements, my man Absolute, AL Skills. So we were all in that same thing.
Wow.
Just like coming in, hearing about the new Stretch and Bob tape from the night before.
It was religious.
Religious.
You were listening in that time when before the 90s, like when we were talking about Red Alert, Chuck Chill Out, and all these Austin 2, Teddy Ted, Stretch and Bobito. Those were like religious moments for us, like going to church. Mm-hmm. We knew what time the show came on. Right. We got our tapes ready. Right. You know what I'm saying? We was heavy on the pause button because we didn't want the fucking commercials.
Right.
You know, so from the 80s all the way up into the early 90s, there was so much fucking music.
Bro,
you know,
remember Hot Tracks?
They came to Hot Tracks. That's old. They came to our skating rink.
Wow.
It was United Skates on Fort Hamilton Parkway and 60th Street, and they did a show there. This guy performed. Oh, damn, what's his name? This fucking memory lapse I'm having is crazy. I'm not gonna stress it, but anyway, they did a show in our local skating rink.
Friday nights at like 11:30.
Yeah, man, we watched that shit.
And I remember watching Herbie Hancock, Rocket they used to play that shit. George Krantz, that was do 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 din da da. Man, and then you would get the Fat Boys or Run DMC or Rob Bass. It Takes Two, but then can't forget the Box, bro. Ralph.
That's what brought it all back. The era of the music video show. And Hot Tracks being a foundation one for, and that's regional, it's New York City. That definitely set the tone for us because we wanted to see that visual. You know what I'm saying? And the good thing about Hot Tracks was they didn't only play hip hop. They would play R&B, soul. There was a good mixture.
All the notes.
Yeah, you would get a good mixture of music.
Yeah.
It wasn't shit.
You got Madonna, you got Prince.
You got everything. You know what I'm saying? When Video Music Box came out, that just took it to a different level. Because you get indie artists or breaking artists that were coming out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a lot of Poor Righteous Teachers used to get played on there.
Man.
Shakira, Rock This Funky Joint. A lot like Ralph broke a lot of artists that would never probably see the light. Remember Dirt Nation, Khadijah?
Jesus Christ.
Like he would play these offshoot videos that like the Akinelli, I Love Her.
Akinelli's album, Black Vagina Diner?
Dope.
Fire.
Bro, the shout out to my man Large Professor. But Professor's beats on there. My favorite track on there was the B-side, and it only came out on Test Press, was No Exit Part 2.
Oof.
And that had also didn't get put on was Break a Bitch Neck with G-Rap.
Yeah, because of the content. They were like, nah, you too ahead of your time right now. But speaking of Large Professor, also, I want to say salute to Diamond D. Diamonds, yeah. The DITC, like DITC overall.
Oh, man, shout out to my man Buck Wild.
Oof. Andre the Giant.
AG.
You know what I'm saying? Showbiz has done so much.
Yes.
And motherfuckers just
still ill.
Still to this day.
Still ill.
I watch him on IG sometimes and he be pulling up old beats and I'm like, oh, he's rocking the SP right now. I'm like, wow, listen to this shit.
My man Buck still doing it. AG still nice with the pen. Fat Joe became a super success. Bro, OC still making bangers.
OC was that dude. He definitely was.
Shout out to Serge for putting him on.
It's crazy. Serge has had a really like he was out front, but he's done a lot of behind the scenes shit.
Put a lot of people on.
Yeah. Do you think that beef? Because there was a whole controversy about him asserting that somebody called him to write for Rakim, and you know Pete was like, "Get the fuck out of here."
I'm put it like this. I'm cool with both gentlemen, and I really don't know.
Yeah, what was what?
What was what?
Yeah,
I'm put it like that.
It's funny when they were out, when they were hot, when they dropped the Cactus album. We were by, I think it's BMCC's on the west side. Yeah, but BMCC's on the west side. Baruch is in Flatiron District. We're walking down Chambers Street, and who pulls down Chambers Street in the Rose? Pete. Yo, we were stuck.
Yeah, man.
Oh shit.
Prime Minister Pete Nice. Pete got the Hip Hop Museum with Paradise.
Yeah, I saw it on the news.
Yeah, man. Pete did his thing, and also VH1. He does the curator.
Yeah, I was gonna say
artifacts and stuff.
That's important. You know what I mean? But let's get back into the history of your history.
Yeah.
So now you're in St. John's. You dropping mixtapes. What are you in? No, you going to school. You're not staying in the dorms.
No, I lived down in Shipshead Bay at that time.
All right. What is school life like for you? Are you like really focused in class, or you like?
Bro, you know the God's honest truth. I did not want to go to college. I wanted to basically go to like Fairleigh Dickinson, become an audio engineer.
Okay.
My mom's like, no, you got to go to school. So I went to St. John's. I studied criminal justice and business administration. Shit was easy. Like I graduated Sigma Phi, like right before summa cum laude. The say I was on National Honor Society, but I found school easy.
Okay.
But it was funny because I'd have like my homies be like, yo, Mike, you got a test today. You wilding the fuck out. In the mornings, I was hyped, bro. I worked at Upstairs. So my day was take my classes, go hang out at the record store all day, meet artists, politics all day, and then have mixtapes to sling at school. So it was just like, I had a good time in college. College was fun. College was mad fun. I go to industry party the night before and go to class the next morning and shit like that.
To be young again.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm in bed by 10:30 nowadays.
I loved it, man. I loved it.
So did the mixtape game keep you afloat financially?
Yeah, bro. I made good money off the mixtapes. No bullshit. Like I had fresh gear. Worked it Upstairs, but like for pocket money, I had a whip at that time. And yeah, mixtapes were fucking good. Like, I did good, bro. I did so good. I owned the telex machine.
Really?
Yeah, bro. And if you were making, you owned the telex. Instead of spending 90 minutes to flip, got my telex machine, made both sides of the tape in like 60 seconds or something like that.
Wow.
And I used to buy my shit in bulk from disc makers. Tapes.
Oh wow! And, disc makers.
And yeah, bro. To be honest with you, from the success of the mixtape, is what led me to, and my connection with all the artists, which led me to putting out the Cracking the Surface mixtape, which I dropped in 98, 99. And the crazy shit was I took 50 at that time unsigned artists. Like I had Nonfiction on there, I had Necro on there. Graph's first appearance was on there. A Butter was on there. But the crazy shit is you would, and bro, that was barcoded. The crazy shit was, I took all industry beats. Everybody was rhyming over industry instrumentals. You would never, ever, ever to this day press it. Nobody's going to press that.
Absolutely.
It was complete.
They're going to get sued the fuck out of.
But my mentality at that time was, if it hits the radar, let them come get me. This is gonna make me known. I pressed 500 of them. I still have some J cards. If you had, like, I have one sealed copy left, but it was crazy. Like everybody recorded like original freestyles on that thing, and like it was dope tape, man. Like I said, lot of dope stuff was on that tape. So I was the first DJ really, and this is before Drama. Wow. Like some of the other cats, I'm the first DJ to put the independent artist on, and that's from New York. Now, and the only cat that didn't, he came to the session, but the engineer didn't show up, was Last Emperor. And I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No. I know that.
Yeah,
I know that name.
We went all the way out to the studio out in Brooklyn, and the engineer never showed up. And that's why, like in the inside credits, it says Last Emperor, next time, kid.
Oh wow!
But yeah, that was it's. If you go online and you type in DJ Mike Nice Cracking the Surface, you can check out the tape, and it's dope. Like it's one of them joints that like, yo, that shit aged well.
Okay.
It really aged well.
Like a timeless moment.
Yeah. And that was like the same thing. I had stopped doing mixtapes, and then around 2010 when doo-wop basically put me back on, and like I made epic classes after linking with WAP.
Oh wow.
So I did Last King of New York, which was the 10th anniversary of Biggie passing, and WAP's like, yo, Mike, you got all this unreleased Biggie material, do a side. I felt disappointed because it was rough at the time, and I thought the sound quality wasn't that great. Now now I could like remaster it, and like my side would be perfect.
Right.
But he had introduced me to Rap Mullet. Shout out to Dimes and Chew. And once I got, and they like found out like about my mass assortment of unreleased material, And I started doing mixtapes like I did the Nas Please Listen to My Demo mixtape, which was all unreleased Nas material, like pre-Illmatic.
How are you getting, is this through the circulation of
it was what
upstairs?
Through upstairs, bro, because I rubbed elbows with everybody.
Okay.
Like on the East Coast, like upstairs was one of the biggest vinyl spots, bro. Like I started like pre-internet. I was faxing out vinyl. We had the Vinyl Fax Club. And it would be like, and we serviced DJs across the seas. And like, remember, we used to take out the full page ad in the Source. And it was Upstairs Records. And then people would get the catalog. And then we would fax out pre-internet and sell like basically records via mail. And just meeting like with the different label connects, artists, and just, you built this network. And it was just like Eclipse says it, if it exists, Mike Nice has it. You know,
wow.
what I mean? I've traded like rare material with Just Blaze, Stretch Armstrong, Jay-Z's demos I gave to Just Blaze, and Clark Kent. Clark Kent didn't have them anymore.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that I should have, and there's stuff that I probably shouldn't have. Yeah. So it's funny. It's like a joke. Like, but a lot of times, like artists have come to me like, Mike, you have this. I don't even have my own shit and stuff like that. Yeah.
Would there be any recourse for you playing like material that is
I do it like a lot of times. I'll do guest appearances on like the internet radio shows and stuff, and yeah, I open the vault and I play a lot. There's so much dope music out there that has never seen the light of day.
Absolutely.
Has never seen the light of day, and whether it's label politics where the records will never come out, you need the DJ to play them.
The source.
It's like crazy. It's like the Pete Rock remixes that Pete used to play on Future Flavors.
Future Flavors, for those of you who are too young to know, was a hip hop show on BLS that was by DJ Pete Rock
and
Molly Moore. And just the tag that they would play, you know, you would hear the imitation, the exclusive, the Fat Albert shit,
right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Mudfoot, some treats on us, man.
Exactly. That show was another source of music.
And like, there was records spun on there that you never, ever heard again. And it's crazy. Like there was a record that was played on Future Flavors, and G-Rap don't have it, Mega don't have it, but it was called Thugs at Work. It's Mega and G-Rap.
What?
And like, I spoke to Mega a couple of weeks ago. He's like, yo, Molly gave me the fucked up copy of it. And
he did that purposely.
Even if you go on YouTube, J Love has it on, and you can't even hear it. But yeah, G don't have a copy. Molly's the only one with it. But there's so much dope material that like go into them vaults, like give it to us, you know?
What is one of your most memorable moments as a DJ? You know, reaching this point in your life at 48 years old, looking back.
Probably just Guru Keith, rest in peace, was the first artist to embrace me into the industry.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Just running into Guru and just like telling him like I was a huge Gang Starr fan, and just like he signed, and then he said, like, I have 2 pieces of autograph stuff. They signed the record like back in '95, then he signed it again in 2003, and it was always like, yo, Mike, keep it real, you still doing it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And shout out to Premier, Primo. That's definitely, I idolize Premier. Like, my production style is very reminiscent of Premier.
The king of boom bap.
Absolutely.
I refer to him as.
Absolutely. It's like you knew a Premier beat.
Absolutely, yeah. As soon as it dropped, that's Primo. It's on the one.
Yeah.
It's on the one.
Yeah, same thing with Pete Rock. You knew once you heard them funky horns as Pete.
The snares.
And that's why, like, Puff did not create the remix. Pete Rock was the remix.
Speaking of Puff, I understand that you come to get your hands on some bad boy material to some effect. Like, can you explain to everybody what that's about?
We'll put it like this. There was a situation, and it was like, Mike, you want Biggie's contract release from Uptown? And it had, I basically have all the bets in my phone. Basically Biggie's termination from Uptown and how Bad Boy was established. So, and like all the paperwork's there, the receipts tells you exactly how Puffy, the money that Puffy was given to start Bad Boy, and how he took Biggie over from Uptown onto Bad Boy.
Wow.
So, and the paperwork was signed by Andre Harrell, Burt Padell, Puffy, Biggie, and Puffy's mom's signatures on that paperwork. I don't have the paperwork, and I ended up selling it in an auction years ago. And the funny thing was, Pete Nice ended up asking if I had the papers, and I don't know who purchased the items.
Oh, okay. He wanted to put that in.
Yeah, he wanted and the crazy thing was, I also had this came from upstairs. I actually had crime scene photos of the night that Pac was killed.
Really?
Yeah. What happened was, when I was working at upstairs, one of my customers, his dad worked for Nevada Police Department.
Okay.
So he was able to get pictures of the car, like the day after.
Oh, wow.
The thing, which is kind of crazy. And like these pictures were like, somebody bought them in an auction, but they've never seen the light of day. Yeah.
Now, is it true, the Clue situation?
Oh, about when I wanted to battle Clue at St. John's? Yeah. Oh, that's me.
Pause for the cause, ladies and gentlemen. That's all right. He ain't gonna get it.
I ain't gonna let it. What you gonna call it? What happened was with Clue was I was at St. John's, and they were gonna bring him in to DJ a party and stuff like that. So what happened was I called up Clue's manager at the time, Spank.
Okay.
And got arrested dead. And I was like, yo, tell Clue, like, yo, you come to St. John's, like, we could battle for $1,000, or we could battle for the turntables. And Spank was like, yo, Mike, you take him out in a battle, his career's over. That was it.
No more Clue.
Bro, I mean, and at that time, man, I was in, I used to battle in the DJ competitions.
The DMC joints?
DMC, ITF. Now, the crazy shit was, I never placed, but I came up, it was like, when I battled, I was like in the 96 NBA All-Star game. There was Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas. Bro, I battled among Rock Raider, Rob Swift, X-Men DJs, like Total Eclipse, Rolly Roll, like Fifth Platoon DJs, Daddy Dog, like competition swamp.
Yeah.
Like, and competition was like, I battled among like Salute. Yo, y'all did your come on, like competition was like, it wasn't like
real.
some schlep. I don't agree with the DJ competitions nowadays with the Serato and the mix. But once you can start pushing, it takes that skill out of it, like the technique. You know what I mean? You have to be able to catch the record, bring it back. Not that, it looks cool the way you're doing it, but once you can press a button to bring it back to the cue point, it's kind of like
you're not really doing it. Yeah, I think shout out to DJ Blazer One, DJ C4, DJ Tomate, or Brooklyn Heads. These are guys that still hold on to the tradition of turntables. I mean, they do play Serato, whatever, but they're more geared towards the turntables. Yeah, because that's part of that's one of the elements, right? And I think that it's made it lazy. You know what I mean?
It's like, how do we put it? It's like even the change with the mixtape game. Once mixtapes got into playing exclusives and echo chamber, it was like, it wasn't about the mix no more. It was like who had the newest joints on there. And then it was like skill. It didn't matter to have skills. Right. And that's like a lot of the celebrity DJs today are trash.
Yeah, they're not DJs.
Or if you ever watch YouTube, how the fuck you DJ and you don't even have nothing plugged in? You have nothing, no cables are plugged in, and like
let's shift real quick. We're gonna make this one the one we leave with fashion and how we was dressing. right? To go from the fat laces, the permanent creases, the Latigre shirts, and so on, to gradually moving towards more high fashion like polo, right? What brought that on to you?
Oh man, well, shout out to OGs Thurston, my OG Rudy Lowe, Barlow, Rack Low. Those are the cats that official low lives give me my L's. Mm-hmm. And I'm how would I say? I'm new generation low life. Mm-hmm. So I was a baby back in 86, 87.
Right.
But them rest in peace, Boostin' Billy, Mr. Raisin, Punkin, like cats died for polo, bro. Like it wasn't safe to wear certain of these things. Like I remember in high school, like I said, I spent time between 80th and Liberty and 16th Avenue and 76th Street and Sheepshead Bay. But I seen cats get tossed for gear down at Broadway Junction. That A-Train was gladiator school.
You just said Broadway Junction. That's enough. Like, everybody knows, everybody in Brooklyn knows Broadway Junction.
Yeah, them steps. Like, A-Train was gladiator school. You didn't wear shit on the subway if you couldn't hold shit down.
Right.
You know? Definitely, Low Lives set the fashion trend, and Low Lives just didn't wear polo. Like, Low Lives wore Gucci, Fendi, and like that's why like Philo and cats like that. And it was all about getting dip, fresh gear, and just looking fresh. I mean, you look at Ralph Lauren, he makes timeless clothing. Like this is all Ralph. I could wear this today. I could wear this 30 years ago. It's still a style. It's not going to be dated.
Right.
But Low Lives definitely set the fashion. Like you look at streetwear from the boardroom to the tennis court to the yacht. It makes you could aspire to be anything you want. Anything could be an aesthetic that I feel like being like an outdoorsman. Like, I'm gonna go shoot a deer when I go home or something. Maybe I feel preppy, or as a stay, I'm gonna throw some P-Wing stuff on or stuff. It's definitely, but gear goes hand in hand with hip hop, because what was it about? Fresh and fly, the fresh, fly and bold. Take it back to Cold Crush.
Yeah, for sure.
But gear was always a staple. But like we seen, from the Presleys to the stuff that the kids wears nowadays, which is like,
I don't know what that's about.
So I don't know, but like someone was trying to tell me, it's almost like if we look back to like the Furious 5, mm-hmm. They wore some wild shit back then.
All of them did. They were artists.
That whole punk rock vibe.
Right. My issue with the fashion sense is this. It's simple. These gentlemen that you pointed to, whether it's the Furious 5, whether it's the Isley Brothers, whether it's Earth, Wind, and Fire,
right.
They were artists.
Right, they were performers.
They were actually, these are guys that play multiple instruments, write music. These are artists expressing themselves. So when I look at it, I don't have a problem with it. Well, not even a problem. I'm not bothered by it. It's not nothing, because I understand. Like Prince.
Prince, the only masculine motherfucker that could pull all that shit off.
100%. And take your bitch. But with guys today, I feel like it's a stunt. Mm-hmm. You don't play any instruments. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, to me, it's like, it's an accessory to you. You're like trying to stand out. And I get that.
What never resonated to me, how you in front of the bodega, $600 belt on, even if it's real, same jeans, but you rocking the same fucking fit every day. And then yo, G, let me get a loose.
Come on, yo.
Let me get $2. Let me get a beer. Bro, but you got like a $1,200 fit.
I had a dude come up to me, new Jordans, if they were real. Like he was fitted fresh, top to bottom. Yo, let me get a cigarette. And I was like, what? Dude, get out of here with that. Look, what the fuck you fresh. I'm at work. Like, you asking me for shit? Fuck out of here.
But the crazy thing is, you will literally wear, but they'll have that one fit every day. Like, bro, if you don't, like, if you can't keep up with it,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah. And the clothes don't define you. The man defines the clothes, not the clothes define the man.
You're just a bozo in expensive gear.
Yeah, basically. And it's just like, yo, don't, like, I think another thing is, you know, cats my age and stuff like that. Yo, don't live outside your means.
Well,
you know,
that's societal.
But it's important. Like, if you have responsibility, because I've seen cats, especially in this polo game, like going into debt over polo, or you can't even feed your kids, but you're chasing the new outfit that's coming out. Guys dying where they're doing GoFundMes and taking collections. Like seriously, fellas, don't. It's nice to have the fresh gear and stuff. But at an age of 48 and stuff, make sure you have your life priorities in effect. Make sure you got health insurance. Make sure you got what you want. Have a 401k plan, or like, yo, there's more to life than this polo and fashion shit. Like, take care of responsibilities, because
have your priorities in order.
Yeah. It's just like a lot of cats try to. At 48 years old, you should not be out there trying to impress.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
It's.
My lights is on. My crib is good. I got food in my refrigerator.
Like, come on, man. Look, like, the truest thing is, like, yo, sometimes we'll be broke, but we're not broke. We just parented, or we took care of responsibility. I pay my bills.
My bills
lights
is
on.
paid.
My bills is paid.
The mortgage is done.
That's it. Yeah. You know, I may only have a couple of bucks in my pocket the next paycheck, but I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't have nobody eviction notice or no shit like that. Oh man, bro, it's to the point where cats will literally duck the landlord to go get a new piece of low.
Nah.
Oh
Come
no,
on,
bro.
Man.
It's like the whole low head community, and it's like cats will literally go into debt chasing clothes, brother.
Nah, that's
and it's like, you shouldn't be over 40 trying to have the newest thing, or running on Instagram to take the picture in the outfit and stuff like that. It's bad. There's a bunch of man children out there.
There's a lot of man children.
Children. Have your priorities straight and stuff.
Do you ever think that you'll like do a segment, like getting back in, like not getting back, but DJing and doing a segment? Like, do you still have that same kind of energy?
Absolutely, yeah, man. I mean, I had the radio show out in Jersey, and stuff like that. I gotta get my MacBook fixed, because my man DJ Rude, me and him want to do a sound clash of just like all the shit that we got from the 90s.
Oh wow!
And just open up the vaults and
just go at it.
Yeah, we wanted to do that during COVID, like when everybody was on the Versus type of thing. Yeah. But my MacBook crashed, and like, yo, MacBooks is expensive, and I gotta get that shit fixed. And everybody's like, go buy a new. I can't buy a new MacBook because all my materials on the old stuff.
Oh wow!
So I'm just gonna have to give in, get the screen fixed, and rock off there, because all my goodies is in there.
Yeah, you can't lose that. Yeah. That's definitely not something you want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to end the show. I want to thank my guest, DJ Mike Nice, giving up his time, sharing a piece of history. My pleasure. For sure. And
you want to follow me, Real DJ.
That was my next point.
Real DJ Mike Nice on Instagram, Real DJ Mike Nice on Twitter, DJ Mike Nice Facebook, and I'm also on LinkedIn.
As always, real people telling real stories. Your host, Mr. A. We out of here. We'll see you on the next one, all right?